And boom. What is up, everybody? This is Seth Kniep, Kniepin' It Real. Welcome to the Ask Seth Anything today. We used to do this more often. We don't do it as often as we used to because we were making so many videos, but today we decided to go live. Last night, I had the opportunity to join the live Q&A for our members only platform, and there were so many questions that came up. I thought, you know what? Let's just go live and answer a bunch of these questions coming up. So I can see you guys already have questions in the chat. Feel free to ask me anything. Now, just a couple rules here for how this works. So if you have questions, even if they're critical, ask away, whatever you want. Totally fine with that. I would love to answer. If there are spammers on this video, my staff will have to put you in a timeout. If there's anything like really critical, but it's funny and worth laughing about, then I might leave it for the sake of thou entertainment in our audience today. So what is up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome to beautiful Austin. It is cloudy outside and I love it. My wife hates it. She loves the sun. I love the clouds, but somehow we make life work anyways. All right, so let's just go into the first question. Here's the first question. I'm finding new products on Etsy and Pinterest, but when I come to Amazon, I can't find any ranking keywords for these products. Now, this is an absolutely outstanding question. Let me explain why. What this person is doing is looking for products on platforms that are non-Amazon. This gives you a huge advantage. It means, here's the thing, anytime you use software like Amazon or Helium 10 or Jungle Scout or Viral Launch, and we have a video coming out about those very soon, which is gonna be fun. There's gonna be like a competition. You are looking at products that are limited to what sellers are already selling. So if you're looking for a product that you want to make you a lot of money, go to places. I mean, you can still do that. We teach this, you can do that. But if you want to find products that are extremely innovative, that maybe would be amazing, but no one has thought of selling yet, because a lot of times the creators of these products are not very business minded. They're just like super creative and they come up with this idea where you could go in and partner with them if it's protected. If it's a generic product, you could just use it, find the product idea, have it built, and sell it on Amazon. Now, here's the problem. Even though you see this product as meeting a real need, you're not going to get any keyword ranking for that unique product. Why is that? Because it doesn't exist on Amazon yet. So if you go to Amazon or Helium 10 or Jungle Scout and you search that keyword, it's not going to show up. So my favorite illustration of how to do this is take one step back and ask yourself this question. What need does it solve? What desire does it satisfy? Every product in the world is solving some kind of problem. So for example, if you went back to the days when floss was first discovered, well, cleaning teeth had been around for thousands of years. But if you were to come up with the idea of floss from Etsy, and you said, man, this is a great idea, I'm going to sell it on Amazon. Let's just assume that Amazon existed back then, even though it didn't. You wouldn't find any ranking keywords. So how do you know there's demand? Well, you take one step back and ask, well, what need is it solving? What problem is it bringing a solution to? And the answer to that is cleaning of teeth. You see how that works? So now you could start searching teeth cleaning kits or teeth cleaning tools or Bed Bath and Beauty type teeth cleaning, whatever. You get the idea. And what's going to happen is you're going to find the ranking and the demand for these keywords, even though they're not directly relevant to the product idea you have, it's still solving the same problem, just in a more creative and unique way. Okay, so again, if you find a product on Etsy or you find a product on Pinterest and you don't find any ranking keywords on Amazon, that does not mean there's no demand. In fact, you're probably onto something. Just ask a simple question. What is the ultimate desire or problem that it's solving? Once you understand that, you can use different keywords to test the ranking and you can apply that to the product idea that you have. Great question. Okay, next question. How do I keep my address to my business private so that customers cannot find it? Now, I totally get this because if Bobby McGee buys your product on Amazon and for some reason it falls apart or something's wrong with it, you do not want him knocking on your front door angry. You'd rather deal with it on Amazon, of course. So obviously you need to protect your identity and you don't want the whole world to know where you live. It's very simple. Step number one, you're going to open up a USPS or UPS address. You can easily do that by going in. Sometimes you can do it online. That doesn't even have to be in the same state where you live, though there's no reason not to. Then you're going to open up your LLC, which is going to be the company through which you open your Seller Central account. And you're going to make the LLC address the same as your UPS or UPS.com address. Step number 3. Then when you sign up for a Seller Central account and they ask you for a utility bill, you're going to call the utility company. Let's say it's your electricity company that provides you with electricity. And you're going to say, I want to change my mailing address to the USPS or UPS box. So now you can log into your account online, you can get the digital PDF, and you can send that to Amazon. Now, again, some people say, wait a minute, Seth, they're not serving the USPS or UPS address. Yes, of course, I know. That's your mailing address. You're not asking them to change the service address. You're asking them to change the mailing address. When you take those steps, if someone goes to your Amazon store and sees your address and they decide to show up and invite themselves over for dinner, they're going to show up at a USPS or UPS location and they will be quite disappointed, and then they will not be able to go to your front door. Great question. All right. There are a ton of questions in here. I love these questions. Thank you so much, you guys. And guys, thank you for the honest questions. I don't mind them at all. I'm going to go through them as fast as I can and as transparently as I can. Just let me scroll down. Okay. Steve Bailey is in the house. Guys, Steve Bailey is hustling like crazy. He says, hey boss, my question is, since I'm sending in 200 units and the manufacturer is shipping the other 50 shortly after they send the 200 units in, how many sales would base on the fact of reordering the next shipment? Should I wait till they all sell and close the listing or get moving sooner? Great question. Here's what you do, Steve. Go to your top competitors, find out how many times they're selling per day. You can easily find us on Amazon, Helium 10, many of the software tools. Assuming you're going to get your product to page 1, because that's what where you want to get in order to get a lot of conversion and good sales, you're going to then calculate what is the average number of sales per day. Then ask, what is the lead time? How long does it take to do production? Let's just assume it's 20 sales a day, just a random number, okay? So you know that if your product lands on page 1, it'll sell 20 times a day. So think, okay, if my lead time is 30 days, that means I need 30 times 20. I need 600 units to be ordered just to fill up my inventory before the next one. Well, then you're going to add another 15% in quantity just to give you more cushion. That's just assuming you wanted 30 days of sales. So no matter what you do, just make sure you understand how fast it is selling. Now here comes the big question, you guys. What if Amazon restricts more than 200? Well, the first shipment for a first listing has got to be 200 minimum right now. Then you need to get sales. In my experience, and I cannot give you an exact number because Amazon they don't publicize this information. Once you have a decent number of sales, like let's say, this is a very generic term, so don't hold me to it, 30, 40, 50 sales, they open it up and you can send in more very quickly. If you run out of units, you've got to close your listing. Otherwise, your BSR is going to go up. And when you open up the listing or when you send in products again and it's open, if it's open, then you're going to lose your BSR ranking. So close it as soon as you run out of inventory until you have more sent in. Great question. All right. Next question. Let's see. What is up, Maxime? What's your question, Maxime? I'm not seeing it. Okay, give me 1 second. Gregory Parker. Hey, Seth, instead of printing my brand name on my product box, can I use labels or stickers instead? Yes, you can. When KK and I first started selling in Amazon, we started with stickers. We went to stickermule.com or mulesticker.com. I'm dyslexic. I sometimes forget, but just Google it. And we got these little stickers and we put them physically on the product. As we put them on the product, when the customer received those, they considered that part of the product. You even get it from some very high-end brands. They will still use stickers. If it looks good, it's fine. Sometimes you just need to do it to get your trademark approved. You need to say, hey, this is my product. It has my logo. I know it seems silly, but Amazon will need a picture of the product with your logo on it. What is up, Francis from Boston? What's up, Dan Rogers from England? Ladies and gentlemen, Dan is here. He is in the house. What's up, Alan? Good to see you. Dr. Networks, good to see you, brother. All right. Is it possible that the guy who got 16 million invested 5 million in his listings? So the guy you're talking about is Patrick Kupolari. He lives in New Jersey. We're actually flying out there next week. I encourage you guys to go find him, follow him. It's Profit Business Guru is his Instagram name. So if you have any questions or any doubts, literally go and talk to the people we've worked with and ask them. Say, hey, how have you done this? Did this work? What did you do? When he started with Just One Dime, he didn't have near these sales. Just One Dime trained him. Now he did 16 million in the last 12 months. He's one of our stronger students. And today he is building Amazon stores for people. He did not do the Done For You program. He just simply took the trainings we had and he applied it to his own store. So let me know if that answers your question, Maxime. All right. Why is COVID? I don't understand. Why are people afraid of a fake virus? That is a whole bag of worms. I'm going to get a little political here for a minute, you guys. And I'm going to be very open. And I know this is going to open us up for criticism, and it's fine. Let's have fun. It's cool. So I do not believe that COVID is a fake virus. Okay. I think that in all respect is an ignorant statement. I do know for a fact that the World Health Organization and other organizations have faked the numbers according to multiple doctors whom I've spoken to. Here's how it works. If you get hit by a bus, there are multiple doctors who are told that you need to write it down. The cause of death was from COVID. Now, this is disgusting. Why do they do this? Because the more COVID deaths you can account for or list on their death certificate, I guess, the more money you will get from the state or local government for funding for your hospital. So there is financial incentive to count deaths that had nothing to do with COVID as COVID so they can get funding. If I remember correctly, in London, it's like 30,000 pounds per COVID death, something around there. You can go Google it and find out. So I do believe the numbers have been bloated, yes. But do I think it is a fake virus? No. Should people use caution? Yes. Have people overreacted? Absolutely. And now they're using it for political agendas and, look how bad Biden is, look how bad Trump is. And frankly, people use anything for anything. At the end of the day, take care of yourself, be healthy, build your business, and do not live in fear. All right. What is up, A-Chan, here at 1:30 a.m. Hong Kong time? Hey, Seth, this is not my email. Joining shortly again, no problem. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so how much is your network worth? That is such a great question. And I'm assuming you got that from Tim Ferriss because he says your network is your net worth. Now, what I'm going to say is going to sound a little crazy, but I think anyone's network, in other words, people they're connected with, the people they work with, the people that add value and give value, you cannot put a price tag on. Because of the 4 assets, there's people, time, knowledge, and money, and it goes in that order. All of these are important. All of them you need to leverage as much as you can, but people are the most important thing on the planet. That's why relationships matter so much. That's why people get hurt so much, because relationships matter. If your neighbor was to cuss you out, okay. But if your wife did that, or your kid, or your dog, maybe not your dog, it hurts more. Why? Because they have an impact, because they are infinitely valuable, in my opinion. That doesn't mean all people are good people. All right. I use Printful to make my shirts. Can they ship directly to the warehouse? When should I consider getting a warehouse? I don't know. I have not used Printful, so you need to ask them directly. I would only get a warehouse, Dream Thugs, ENT, when you for sure know that you are making a very healthy profit per month. And that profit is generating enough to start now having business costs, and it's going to grow your business. If Printful can do it for you, that's like a dropship model. Why not? Hey, Seth, nice to be able to communicate with you. The Jod team rocks. Thank you so much, Daniel. Good to see you, brother. Hey, Seth from Pakistan. Is it good to hunt products now in Q4 to launch in Q1 because BSRs and reviews will skyrocket in Q4? Guys, what Dr. Network said is so important. Listen to what he said. If you right now, especially like in the next month or two, when you log into a research software tool like Amazel, like Helium 10, the numbers are going to show much higher than they are year round. So you need to account for that. If you're in the toys category, if you're in a Christmas season, November, Thanksgiving, fall, Halloween season, then you need to account for that. In some cases, 200 to 300% more. Assume those numbers are bloated because they are based on what's selling right now, not what's going to sell in March, April, May, June, and July. So to answer your question, yes, absolutely, you can start researching for future products. And what you can do is use something like Keepa or Google Trends to see how they're trending through the year. By the way, guys, we are not against selling seasonal products. We are against new sellers selling seasonal products because it can put you at risk. There are some companies, all they do is sell Christmas trees. I mean, that's about as seasonal as you can get. if they understand business and they know how to manage their finances and they make enough during that fourth quarter, well, they got 3 quarters of fun. It's like going to school only 1 quarter of the year and then the rest you're on vacation. All right, what is up, Marcel? Good to see you. Hey, Seth, I received an IP complaint. I sent my legitimate proof that everything is legit to the owner and they don't answer my email and don't pay attention to my phone calls. Please help. Juan Pablo Munif. What I would recommend you do is contact Amazon directly. I'm assuming you're referring to contacting the owner. It's probably a fake IP complaint. We live in the world, 2 things, in the land of the free and in the home of the I'm offended. And we also live in a world where everything is so much online that a lot of fake Amazon sellers who are competitors are going to attack you. And it's very easy to do to try to take you down. Amazon has gotten better and better at this. Here's what I recommend. Assuming the IP is over your copy and your photos, get them registered with the Copyright Government Office. It's very easy to do. Once you do that, they give you a number, and that number you can send to Amazon, open a case as proof that this is yours. Number 2, assuming they are selling your brand or they're attacking your brand, then you can show them your trademark once it has been approved. Number 3, if you have a patent, then you know what to do. You just send them that number. What is up, Joaquin? Great to see Dan Rogers. Amazing. Excited, guys. Thank you so much, Joaquin. As an owner of a startup, says James, would you recommend, first of all, I just want to say, James, I respect you. It is hard to start a startup. We have been through the ups and downs and rigors of starting just one dime. We started in coffee shops, then we hired staff. We made so many mistakes along the way. So I just want to say, congratulations, brother. I know you are freaking hustling, so keep going. As an owner of a startup, would you recommend filing taxes as an S Corp, C Corp, or along with your personally taxes for the first year or so? Here's what I would do. If you have employees, if you have staff, I would have your company be an LLC, but have it taxed as an S Corp. Why? If you're you can be an LLC, because remember, LLC means pretty much nothing to the IRS. It's just a disregarded entity. It's pass-through income. It doesn't matter if you're sole proprietor or LLC, you're still going to pay taxes. All your money, all your profit is personal income, which means you're not just going to pay your income tax, you're going to pay employer tax as well, okay? Which is FICA, F-I-C-A. If you register as an S Corp, then you have to take what is called a reasonable salary from your company. Reasonable means it needs to match an average salary based on what other people in the same industry and in the same city where you live would also make. Let's just say, for example, you made $100,000. Let's just keep it simple. And let's say $50,000 was your salary. So $50,000 is your salary. On the $50,000, you will pay tax, both personal income tax and FICA, employer tax. Okay, so that's quite a bit. It's like 15.5, 15. I forget. It's like around 15% for FICA. That's a lot. But on the other 50,000, because that's not salary, that's considered company profit. On that, you will only pay income tax, not employer FICA tax. So that's how you can legally save on taxes, by leveraging your corporate structure. If you don't have employees, this still can benefit you, obviously, because you can still take an income from the company, but only do it when your tax bracket starts moving up closer and closer to that 37% tax bracket where everybody wants to be. All right. No volume. I hope you guys can hear me okay. Okay. Seth, my question is about brand registry. I have a brand I used when I was starting my Amazon business. Right now, I'm about to register my brand, but I didn't want to use the name. Let me read it again. I have a brand I used when I was starting my Amazon business right now. Okay, got it. So you should be able to change, let me go back. You can change the brand name if it's not brand registered yet. You can go in and change it as long as no one else is using it, and then get brand registered. And by the way, guys, if you're trying to get brand registered fast, it should only take you a few weeks. You shouldn't have to wait 12 months. We are currently doing it for one of our brands, and it is awesome. You will pay around the same using what is called IP Accelerator, Amazon IP Accelerator, as you would if you went to a regular trademark lawyer and said, we want you to trademark our brand. Well, here's what's unique about Amazon's IP Accelerator. They are still lawyers who specialize in trademark. The only difference is they have a deal with Amazon, where once you've applied, then you get brand registered, not once you're approved. Because if you wait till you're approved, it's 8, 12, 16 months to get your trademark approved. Once you're applied, you're brand registered, which means you can add videos, you can add A+ content, and so forth. All right, what is up from freezing Colorado, Amanda? All right, Daniel Gonzalez is in the house. If I purchase product from a supplier in the US, but the product is assembled in Honduras, does my FNSKU label need to say made in Honduras? Yes. You can say assembled in the US if you want. Let me go back and make sure I read this correctly. The product is, sorry. So it is assembled in Honduras. Where is the actual material made? That's what you need to say made in. Let me give you an alternate example. If you notice on all of Apple's computers and their equipment, they will say designed in California, but it's made in China. So wherever the material is made, it must say that. But you can add on there assembled in the US or designed in the US, etc. Great question. I sent you guys awesome questions attached over my email for Seth that everyone here can most likely benefit tremendously. Yeah, send them to me, Joaquin, or maybe you sent them today. I haven't seen them yet. I would love to see them. What's up, John? Do you have any suggestion for newer warriors in the fine phase that are getting hung up on analysis of potential products? Yes, I do, 1000%, and I would love to go deep on this. I'm going to try to answer these questions quickly because we have so many questions coming in. And again, guys, ask me anything. If you have a critical question, I will not take offense at it. If you're going to be snarky or something, we either might make fun of it or remove you. But I want you to feel free to ask any questions. If you have a super practical question, I'll help you the best that I can. So here's the thing. When you are analyzing products, it's very hard to separate emotion from analytics. And if you are an emotional person, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're very artistic, emotional, you do things by instinct instead of by fact, which, again, that's a gift, that's not a curse, but it will make it harder to get out of the analysis paralysis. So here's what you have to do. You have to stop asking the question, do I like the product? Do I have a good feeling about it? And you have to simply look at the numbers. Are my profit margins a minimum of 40%? Is my product differentiated or is it differentiable? Is it too hard to enter this market because there are so many reviews on the other competitors? Here's a very practical tip. If out of all your competitors, let's just say 3 of them have less than 100 reviews or 5 of them have less than 100 reviews, that's a very good sign. Dan Rogers talks a lot about this in the training as well as on Just One Dime YouTube. So look at the facts and let the facts decide for you. I don't care if you hate the product. I don't mean morally, but you're just sick of looking at it. Let the facts determine that for you. Build your business based on that. What's up, Yosra? Mohammed. Hey, Seth, my listing keeps changing in the same day between pages 1, 2, and 3. Welcome to Amazon. And sometimes I can't see it in all 7 pages. Welcome to Amazon. I'm not sure why this is happening. Can you please explain why does this happen? Yosra, I'm assuming your listing, your product launch is fairly new, which is why it's going to do this for a while. Totally normal. My simple answer is this. When you're running a business, there's a ton of variables. The one thing that must not change is you. I don't mean don't grow. I don't mean don't adjust. I don't mean don't pivot. I mean you need to keep hustling and growing your business and keep going. Of course, your listing is going to do that. Absolutely. Now, if you are going into the listing and treating it like a yo-yo and you're changing things up constantly, yeah, that's definitely going to happen. But I'm assuming that's not the case. I'm assuming you're optimizing it. You're using your PPC reports to improve it. You're switching out your main photo to split test it. All these things we teach in FBA Mastery, Just One Dime, I'm assuming you're doing that. If you are, it's going to jump around for a while. Eventually, at some point, it'll become consistent. And hopefully that consistency means it shows up on page 1. What are the checkboxes I should check to make sure my product will sell, says Maria. Great question. I'm going to give you 3. Number 1, is there strong demand? Now remember, guys, a lot of people get caught up on sales velocity. And it sounds like I'm ripping on software tools. I'm not, but I want you to see the weaknesses. I want you to think and understand how good they are, but also the limitation. As a general rule, most Amazon software tools will only show a product as potential if it has a certain sales velocity. Sales velocity means how fast is it selling over a period of time. Those are the ones that tend to get lower BSR and rank better. The problem with this, the weakness with this, is what if you're going to sell a product that sells for $150 a pop, which you can get 40 and 50 and 60% profit margin on. I can explain that as well because a lot of people say, how can you get good profit margins? Well, sell higher ticket products. It works. I would rather have a product that's selling for $250 a pop, selling a few times a day, than one that's only selling for $30 and selling 20 to 25 times a day. Not just because of the revenue, but more the profit. You see what I mean? So the first thing you need to ask is their demand. Don't just look at demand as something don't just determine demand based on the speed of sales. Look at the profit. The higher ticket items are going to move more slowly. Perfectly fine. Just compare the cash flow and say which one's better. Second, are you differentiated? Is your product meeting a need better or in a different way than anyone else? It's got to be differentiated. And third, how difficult is it going to be for you to get into this market? As I said before, if of your top competitors, 3 to 5 of them have fewer than 100 views, that is a huge opportunity. Best of M says, how to manage a high search volume keyword that costs me a lot in PPC, but it's super relevant to my product. Great question. It's okay to lower your bid on an expensive keyword, even though it's highly relevant. If it's not going to make you money, and if you have to lose money for it to convert, don't mark it as a negative exact match keyword, because then it'll hurt your ranking. Just lower your bid on it. A lot of times you're going to make money off of the second or third relevant keywords or second or third domain keywords, not the top, because those have so much competition. This is another reason I encourage you guys, sell high ticket items. This is why you can get huge profit margins if it's a higher ticket item. Just think about it for a minute, okay? I want to explain this. I just want you to imagine with me, for example, that this is a $100 item and this is a $20 item, okay? 100, 20. You ready? Same size, same weight. Let's just assume that. For a $20 item, my PPC costs are going to be just huge compared to this one for several reasons. Number one, how many people are launching products that sell for $100 on Amazon? Very few. That means fewer bidders. That means when you imagine you have 1,000 people bidding on a painting, the cost of that painting is going to go way up. But if you only have 10 people bidding on the painting, then the cost of the painting goes way down. See that? Now, so that's the first reason. A higher ticket item, as a general rule, the PPC costs are much lower. But let's just compare the two, okay? Imagine that it was $5 bid per keyword for a $100 item and also $5 for a $20 item. Well, $5 of a $20 item is 25% of your sale price, but only 5% of your $100 item. Now you see why a higher ticket item, you have much better margins. Let me give you another example. Your FBA fees are fixed. They have nothing to do with how much you sell this for. I'm not talking about your referral fee. I'm talking about your FBA fee, fulfillment. It's based on size and weight. So if your $100 item is the same size and weight as your $20 item, and let's just say the FBA fee is $5 per item, again, the FBA fee is 20% of your $20 item, and it is only 5% of your $100 item. I could go on like this for a while if you want. My point is, your margins are so much better with high ticket items. Your margins could get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger because you're being smart. You understand Oh, I didn't even mention shipping. Your shipping costs. Shipping costs are going to be the same if they're the same size and weight. But if this costs $5 to ship a piece and this $5 to ship a piece, which one is eating into my margins more? See? Okay, next question. Great questions, you guys. How is the way I should separate the credit card family expenses with the expenses of Amazon? Great question. Jack, get a different credit card, or you're going to have to open a business account, bank account at some point anyways. When you do, get a debit card attached to that and attach that to your Seller Central account. Daniel Gonzalez, does my FNSKU label need to say Made in Hunt? I already answered that question. How can I get suppliers to pay for shipping? Maria, they won't pay for shipping. You have to pay for it yourself. 100%, you have to pay for it yourself. They're not going to pay that for you. That's a part. You're the business owner. You're responsible for the shipping of that product. Tahir, what is up, my man? Tahir had a lot of questions in the Done For You video. Happy to answer more. Seth, about Done For You, after quite a bit of backlash on 15% on revenue. Yes, I know. Is there any change of mind to rather go with profit sharing? There is not, and I'll explain why. Again, I'm going to use an example as I have done before. I use the range of 40 to 60% margin. I said a minimum of 40%. So if we only look at 40%, yes, at a $100 item, the investor would be getting $3 less per sale as just one dime. That is correct, but that's on the minimum. If you go to 50% margin, it would be the same. If for us to receive 50% revenue share, for the investor to receive the rest, the profit, it would be the same. on a 60% margin. And again, I'm basing this on a $100 item. A lot of these products sell for much more than that, so the profit margins are even better. But on a 60% margin, now the investor is receiving $3 more, and Just One Dime is receiving $3 less. Now, here's something you need to understand, and just to be super clear, we are not going to take any revenue share unless you are profitable and making at least as much as we are on that item. And we actually had this question. Someone emailed us and I said, look, like we are not going to take that unless you were making at least as much. I mean, it's stupid business that way. Again, it could work to your favor or not, depending on the margin, which is why we fight for high margins. At the end of the day, our goal is long-term. We are looking, I know there are scammers out there. I know almost every Amazon automation program is a scam. That doesn't by default mean Just One Dime is a scam. In fact, if it was a scam, we'd try to be tricky. We would change the numbers and be sneaky. It's funny, I was super open about the numbers and I got backlash for that. That's not a scam. I mean, if you think it's a bad deal, call it a bad deal, but that's not a scam. You go look up the definition of a scam. A scam is something that is trying to deceive or trick. There's nothing trickery about saying, here are all the numbers and being really blunt about it on the side of conservatism. So again, no, we're not changing it. There's other reasons for that I can get to if you want, and how it works best for both parties. But at the end of the day, we're looking for people who want to grow with us and make money with us as a team. And if you look at the history of where we've been and where we're at now, like it's pretty awesome. But thank you for the question to hear. AM Forward should be excellent for this, Seth. Let me know, brother, who AM Forward is. I'm assuming that's a freight forwarding service. Yeah, I don't hear audio, Seth. Maybe try restarting. No audio. Same. Hello, Seth. Just wondering what your insights are in startup costs for the Amazon FBA business model. Great question. Okay, first let me tell you exactly what I did. When I went out and doubled my dime, I doubled it up to $400. At some point, I evened it out to a multiple of 10 to keep it simple. I took the $400, I bought my first product on DHgate, which was cremation urns, and I began to sell those on eBay. They didn't do very well. Then I started to sell them on Amazon, and they did really well. I started with $400. Realistically, if you were going, the reason my product sold is no one else was selling it. There were other cremation urns, but not my version of them. So if you want to grow your Amazon business, realistically, I would recommend you start with $5,000. Why? Maybe $6,000 or $7,000. Because now you have enough money, not only for PPC, not only to differentiate, but to invest in a higher ticket item. Seth, what do you mean by higher ticket? I mean an item that sells for a higher cost. Not something that sells for $20 or $15, which is what the vast majority of Amazon sellers are doing, which is why so many people struggle with, well, you can't get a better profit margin. Amazon takes 40% of my money. If Amazon's taking 40% of your money, you are doing something wrong, my friend. Like you, and I'm not talking to you specifically, Christopher. I'm just saying for people out there, you should set up a better business model, and that is simply not smart business. Okay, let me continue. Great question. Makassing Salfivorat. Visited Austin this Labor Day weekend. Very beautiful, quirky city. My question is, you should have come by. My question is, should I launch my first product in Q4 or should I wait until Q1 of 2021? Thank you for all the free content. Absolutely, you're welcome. So it depends. If you are going to make way more money launching a product in Q4 than in Q1. Now, again, the next quarter is going to come around, 2021. The sun will keep, the world will keep spinning. The sun will keep rising and falling. It's just a matter of, are you ready? If you're not ready, there's no harm in launching in Q1. It's just going to take you a little more time, a little more PPC to get that product ranking. The beauty of Q4 is there's so much traffic going to Amazon. It's almost unbelievable. I literally this morning I was looking for the second quarter ending this last June. Amazon reported just in North America alone sales of $55.44 billion. Guys, that is a 43.4% increase compared to the previous quarter, the same quarter of the previous year in 2019. So there's this huge shift of money moving towards Amazon. It's insane. So much money is going to Amazon. People are buying on Amazon like never before. There are products on Amazon that people are searching that no one is selling. Go to product research software and start searching. You're going to see keywords popping up. Then you go to Amazon, like, where's the product? It doesn't even exist yet, or it's not on Amazon yet. It's pretty crazy to think about. So my answer to your question is, if you can get it in for Q4, do it. You'll make more money. But don't take shortcuts. Don't take shortcuts to quickly make some money and then put your account at risk. It's likely you'll make $1 million in revenue within 36 months of having your first Amazon product listed, where would you incorporate if you happen to live in Puerto Rico, and why? Great question, Joaquin. So first answer is I would still incorporate in the US as a US citizen. Here's why. Because of subpart F, go Google it, you guys, it is extremely difficult to lower your tax liability by having an offshore company if you're a US citizen. Dan Rogers created an outstanding video for the Just When I'm channel just a few weeks back. If you were living in Europe or other countries, these are great options for you. But as an American citizen, your options are very limited because America, the United States, has found a way to make sure they're going to get their taxes as well as that other country. And sometimes the tax treaties, which are supposed to reduce that, do not work in your favor. So with subpart F, this used to be very common for Microsoft to do this. Apple does it to a degree. I think it's in Ireland. Is that right, Josiah, where they have a lot of their IP? I forget. But anyways, offshore companies is something large companies leverage a lot to reduce legally their tax liability. As an American citizen, I've looked at it from every which direction. It's simply, I don't see any option better. So I would still incorporate in the US. All right. What would it take to, yep, I already answered that question, Galaxy Queen. Great question. Okay, Alvin Vang. Seth, do I need to get my legal business name a trademark? Meaning, if my legal business name is Bob's Hunt LLC, do I need to register Bob's Hunt as a trademark to protect my LLC name? You don't. Your business name and your trademark name could be completely separate entities or completely separate names. It doesn't matter. It's kind of like McDonald's. McDonald's is a trademarked brand name, but the company behind the scenes is a completely different name. Now, if you want them to match, perfectly fine, but you don't have to. Knowing what you know now, if you have $3,000 to comfortably invest for your first Amazon product, what are the top 3 niche markets you entertain immediate research to start one big brand? I'll tell you exactly what it would be. It would be fitness, health, and beauty, one of those. Now, if I'm new to Amazon, I would not start with health and beauty because many of those products are gated or product types, the subcategories. So I would start with fitness. The reason is I'm very interested in all of them. My wife is a model. I work out a lot. We're very healthy. We're very health conscious. So this is something that I like and I enjoy and I know really, really well. For a while, I was thinking about launching a differentiated, improved version of those chin-up bars. You know, the ones you can stick on your door and do chin-ups with? And the profit margins were not there. And so I decided not to do it. All right. Paul Wingfield says, how is the Done For You service going? I was planning on doing this service in 6 months. Will this be available? So right now it is on a waiting list. So we closed the applications a few weeks back. We had a huge flood of investors. Many of them we turned down. Some of them we accepted because we only want to work with people who, I'll just be blunt, we like working with and who think long-term. So make sure you go to justwhenI'm.com/DFY and put yourself on the waiting list. As soon as it opens up, you'll get a chance to apply. And then that's when we would set up a meeting and talk and see if this is a good fit for both of us. Great question. Dan is an excellent trainer judging his video. Definitely great to see you here, Dan. Absolutely, brother. 100% agreed. What is up, Pinarella Ryder? Oh my goodness, Pinarella, you've been with us since like way back in the day, like 2016. This is so awesome. Seth, I'm running an Amazon PPC campaign and have received 300 impressions, but no sales yet. Any idea of what I may be doing wrong? Yes, first of all, are you running a manual campaign? You should be running both because a manual campaign is going to collect you a lot more data. Second, are the keywords in your campaign matching the keywords in your listing? Third, how high are you bidding? Is your budget limited or your PPC keyword bidding limited? What I would do when anytime you launch a new product is go at least minimum 10, but more like 20, 30, 40, 50 cents, sometimes $1 higher than the highest possible bid. That way you're putting enough money into it to push it to the front. But also keep in mind your daily budget. If it's too limited, then you're going to run out of your budget quickly and people only see your ads for maybe a couple hours and then it's gone. More money from COVID deaths. Yeah, it's sad, Matthew, but it's true. Jonathan says, Seth, at how many top competitors do you back off of a certain market? Great question. First of all, I look less at the competitors today as I used to. If you watch our videos from a long time ago till now, you see a lot of our strategies have changed because the market has changed and we also have matured and learned more and more. I would focus instead on reviews. If your top 3 to 5 competitors have less than 100 reviews, that's more important to me. You could have a ton of competitors, but here's the way I look at it. Let's just say 4 of them are selling really well. They're ranking on the first page for the top 3 keywords and they have less than 100 reviews. That means people are buying even though the reviews are low. So when you start with no reviews and you're waiting for reviews to come in and you're using the strategies we teach to get those organic 5-star reviews, all of a sudden, you're going to start seeing more buys because they're not judging the value of the product so much on reviews as they are the picture, the listing, the copy. Look at it this way, you guys. If you want to know if a market is difficult to get into, simply ask this question. How much does the consumer judge the value of the product based on reviews? And this is why differentiation is so important. Let's say you were to launch this really cool candle and there's another candle out there. If your product is hardly any different, it's just maybe a slight different color, slight different design, but nothing really that people are interested in, and they already have, let's just say they have 67 reviews, that's all. What are the chances they're going to buy yours? See what I mean? You need to give them a reason to buy yours other than reviews. But if you don't differentiate it, what you're really saying is, hey guys, judge my listing based on how many reviews it has, which means you're going to get crickets chirping when you launch. Great question, Jonathan. Joaquin, that's such a cool name. Seth, do you see Amazon eliminating the FBA opportunity for guys like us once they reach a certain market share and Amazon product platform domination with their own private label products? I do not. And the reason I do not is because Amazon is making great money from what we do. So Amazon's making more money right now from our products, ours as in all of us third-party sellers, than from their products, based on the last thing I heard Jeff Bezos speak about. So I don't. As long as they're making money, they're going to be happy. People are going to go where the money is going. Yes, Ronald, I totally agree. It's absolutely disgusting what they do for the whole lying about death so they can make more money. I mean, literally, they're taking people's deaths and they're using that to get funding. And that creates panic. Abuse in homes has gone up, suicide has gone up, overdose has gone up. And even though all those issues are people's personal issues that they are 100% responsible for, their reaction, the fear in response to COVID has created so many more issues. It is absolutely disgusting. In the US, it's $13,000 for admitting someone with COVID, $39,000 for death certificate. That's just horrible. All right. Thank you so much, Brandon. I appreciate it. Hey, Seth, just saying hi. We're new partners with the Done For You program. Looking forward so much to long success together. Aaron, honored to have you on the team, brother, and I am as well. One of my favorite examples of where this is headed. So one of the Done For You investors is a designer. He's an architect, and he's done some amazing stuff on the East Coast. And one of our dreams has been to start Just When I'm training centers around the world. So we may be investing in him to design these buildings for these training centers. Like that's long-term. My dream is I see thousands of business men and women collaborating together, creating innovative products, and literally changing the world through their innovation and helping each other. So that's awesome. Glad to have you on, Aaron. Seth, if I'm an international seller, how to deal with Amazon hustles, customer returns? You will need, first of all, let me step back. I would not have customer returns sent anywhere. I would have Amazon take care of it for you. You can set that up in your settings in Seller Central so you never have to see a return. It is not worth your time. When I started, I felt it was worth my time. I would take every product, I would look at it and I would go, are you kidding me? There's nothing wrong with this product. They returned it. They lied. I was very naive. Some people, they just want their money. Like, hey, it's something wrong with it. I want a refund and I'm gonna return it. And so I, over time, realized some people are just like that. There's bottom feeders in this world and some people who will always be like that, no matter what you do. So I had to accept this is part of the cost of running a business. If I focus on every single product and checking it, I could never scale. The time spent looking at one product is ridiculous. If that product makes me $70 a sale, I could have spent that time looking up another product, launching another product, and making 70 times 100 that. You see what I mean? So set up your settings so that there is no need for you to receive those physical products. Let Amazon dispose of them for you. What is up, Asan Ali? I want to see your comment, man. No, it's okay. I'm sure it was a nice comment, as well as Brandon's. Amelia TV, I've been selling a product under the manufacturer's brand name, but now I have private labeled the product. Is it possible to switch the brand name on the listing to my new private label brand? I don't know. And the reason I don't know is I've seen Amazon go both ways with this. I will say this though, with Amazon's new restriction, when you create a new listing, you have to put in a brand name. If you go back later and try to change the brand name, they don't let you. There was a day when you could, that's not happening anymore. Now under brand registry, could you do it? I haven't tried it since this new restriction. So that's why I can't give you a direct answer. I'm so sorry, Amelia. Do you make more money with affiliate marketing versus FBA? I hear some say that you can only do so much with FBA. Great question, Randy. In 2019, we lost money through Just When I'm Coaching. And by the way, I have a few affiliates. I have Helium 10, Not Amazal, Jungle Scout, but we rarely share it. Viral Launch. We have like 3 or 4 affiliates. We make about $100-200 a month from those. If you're referring to coaching, I can tell you exactly. So in 2019, we actually lost $100,000 because we invested so much in equipment, media, this office, staff, hired new people because we knew we wanted to do this for the long term. This wasn't some, hey, I just want to stay in a coffee shop and work out of there. I knew I wanted to scale. So we actually physically lost money in 2019. But I don't consider it a loss because we invested in people, we invested in staff, we invested in equipment so we could scale. So it depends. Every year is going to be different. Right now, I'm making far more money on Amazon than I am on coaching, but that could change as well. And I'm fine either way. Like at the end of the day, we're going to keep training people the best we can. We're going to keep investing with people and we're going to keep selling on Amazon and just grow. I'm also in real estate. I've invested a lot in real estate recently. Haven't made a penny lately. Why? Because I've invested so much. I probably won't see returns on that for a few years, but I'm okay with that because I'm in this for the long term. Thank you for asking. Does Amazon care if my shipping label is in Chinese? Some of the label returns Chinese, but yeah, you need to get those in English. Great question. When are you going to open up Done For You again? Darnell, go to justwhenI'm.com/DFY and click on the waiting list. And as soon as it opens up, I'll let you know. If I need permission to use my new brand, where in Seller Central do I go to upload image of my new brand in a product? So your new brand is... Let me make sure I'm understanding the question correctly. I'm assuming you're referring to your featured photo. You're just going to upload that new photo and your brand name is going to be when you create the listing and it has product identifier with your UPC or EAN code. It gives you a section where it says brand name. And that's where you're going to type in your brand name. And it'll say manufacturer, make that the same brand name because technically you are the manufacturer of your own brand. All right, Brandon, why are they putting you in timeout, my friend? What's going on? I just keep seeing deleted. I had the staff on top of this. Other than China, what are the great places to source products? Tony, I've done very little sourcing outside of China. A little bit in the US, the majority has been China. Now, I know that there are people who've talked to me a lot, Seth. There are so many opportunities in India and Mexico, and that's where we like to expand to eventually. We just haven't yet. All right, what is up? Mirza Faisal got deleted, got put in a timeout. What did you do, Mirza? Okay, once we have picked a brand name, Joaquin is on it today. He's like, man, I got question after question. I love it. Once we have picked a brand name, do you recommend we invest in Amazon Brand Registry immediately, regardless of current sales? Yes, I do. If you have the capital. When I started, I didn't. I literally had $400. That made me a little more money. I put that right back into new products. So first, move to cash. Get your product selling. Then as your business grows, you can take a little bit of the profit and use that to build your business. Are people still doing giveaways to launch a product at Amazon? If so, what kind of giveaways work well and jump sales? Don't use them. Amazon, that used to be great. Viral Launch was built on that. Today, I do not recommend it unless it is coming directly through Amazon. And they used to have this great giveaway program. I haven't touched it for a long time. I don't know if they revived it, but I do not recommend you do giveaways because it doesn't help ranking like it used to. All right. Are TikTok items illegal to sell on? When I hear TikTok, I think the app. So I don't understand the question. Hey, Seth, this is your biggest fan, Marietta. I am addicted to you. Thank you for your support, Marietta. I really appreciate it. All right. My brother lives in Thailand and looking to start a business on Amazon. Does he have to pay U.S. taxes or any taxes? Great question. If the money is going into his bank account in Thailand, he doesn't have to pay income tax. Now, let me qualify. I'm not a tax lawyer. I'm not a CPA. Go double check with them. This is not legal advice. But if he lives in Thailand, he doesn't have to pay U.S. income tax because he's not living in the U.S., even though he might be making the money. If it's going directly into his bank account in Thailand, he's fine. He will have to be responsible for sales tax. And sales tax is managed by Amazon now. And we have a huge video on that, and it's awesome, and you guys should go watch it. All right. Can I go ahead applying for brand registry IP, then ask Amazon for permission? The lawyer said, check first with Amazon because I'm not using this brand name at all. What you need to do is go to Amazon IP Accelerator and do it through them, and they will help you, Masomi. Would you recommend applying for a credit card when opening a business bank account? James, it depends on you. For a long time, I had the conviction that I should not do credit cards. Dave Ramsey persuaded me. One day, I took my whole family to lunch here in Austin, and we got out our credit cards, which we had paid off over many months, and we cut them up with scissors and made it a big celebration. Now, years later, I'm looking back and going, that was smart. I don't want credit card debt. But there is some kind of debt I recommend, and that is real estate debt. If you guys go to YouTube, well, you're on YouTube, but if you go search Seth Kniep, watch our video. It's on our Jodcast. Watch our video. It's not Just One Dime, it's Seth Kniep, where we talk to Evan Kirkpatrick about how to save taxes legally using real estate as a tax shelter. I think you will really enjoy that. As a beginner, if my first product is bigger in size, is it better for me to do FBM instead of FBA? I would start with FBA always. Guys, do not worry about the size if you know the profit. If you know your profits are strong, size is irrelevant. The only reason we talk about size and be careful is if you get to medium oversized, to large oversized, or small oversized, as soon as you go into that next range, all of a sudden it's a huge dip into the FBA fees is a huge dip into your profit. So first of all, figure out your product size, figure out how big it is when it is shipped, not the product, but including the retail packaging material. Once you know that, then ask, well, what's the profit margin? And if the profit margin is at least 40%, go with it, considering you've done all the other due diligence. I used a generic brand name on my brand. When I was set up my account, I have built a couple of reviews using the generic brand name. Right, am about to register my brand with a different name. What should I do? Again, if you have brand registry, you can use whatever name you want, okay? The question is, if you already have a listing and it has a different name, can you change the brand name? And as I said before, I don't think you can. You're going to have to go directly to Amazon to answer that for you. Hi, Seth. I have a problem creating a collection on Facebook. Somebody can help me or show me how to do it. Thank you. Send me an email, seth@justonedime.com, and include more details. No problem, James. You got it, brother. What is up, Grace? Seth, any advice to correct listings for those on wholesale? OA, online arbitrage, RA, retail arbitrage, have contacted Amazon to correct some listings, but they say the brand needs to fix them. They're correct. Remember, when you're doing drop ship, wholesale, arbitrage, you don't own the listing. Well, technically, Amazon owns all the listing, because it's like one ring to rule them all and one ring to bind them. That's kind of like how Amazon works sometimes, it feels. But, excuse me, you can't edit those listings. It'd be extremely rare if you did. The point is, it's a listing owned by Amazon. A lot of sellers sell on it, and it's wholesale. You don't own the brand. If you want to edit a listing, you have to create your own listing. Back to Health says you can also have LLC and be taxed as S corporation. Then you can take the salary too. Yep, exactly what I said. Back to Health. You're 100% correct. What is up, Janet? I just launched my first differentiated product, and I noticed that my supplier is now promoting it on their website with a price. Oh boy. Is this something that is usually done by suppliers? Unfortunately, yes. Now, here's the thing. If you use what is called an NNN agreement, write this down, NNN, like Nancy, 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 or Nick, Nick, Nick. It is much more powerful than an NDA. You could even get a Chinese lawyer to send them the NNN, have your manufacturer sign it. This should have been done before, not after, but I understand. But at least you know now. And it discourages them from selling your product. Now, can they sell that product to other sellers? If you didn't do any differentiation, all you did was change like the logo or the color, yes, you can. But if you actually redesigned a brand new product, then NNN will keep you safe most of the time. They are scared of Chinese lawyers. They don't give a crap about American lawyers. Seth, you're amazing. I love your presentations. Thank you so much, Muhammad Ahmed. Thank you for your help. Dan, what do you think about AMZ Protection Private Label Program? Amazon's been rolling out with these, kind of like when they came out with Project Zero for a while. The whole idea was in response to Chinese sellers, not just Chinese, but the majority were, let's be real, over 50% of them. Over 50% of the top Amazon sellers are Chinese sellers. They were creating like 20, 30, 40 accounts, using fake IDs and all this stuff, tons of fraud. And then they would go attack you, leave critical reviews, open up false IP claims. And as soon as Amazon shut that one down, boom, they'd open up another one. I have to give them respect. They're persistent. They're just doing it the wrong way. So anytime Amazon opens up with a new brand protection program, understand this, there's always a cost. You need to find out how much profit is Amazon going to take, how much control are they going to take. There are two things that are really important, control and profit. You need to remember those two things. Now, why control? Well, if Amazon controls it, I have a student who's doing extremely well. He's in London. He sells supplements, and Amazon wanted to basically buy his brand, and for a while, they would give him a certain percentage. And at the end of the day, they wanted to take over his brand because it was doing so well. Guess what he said? No, I'm not going to do it. Why is that? Because it wasn't worth it to him. So you have to ask, just weigh your costs. Is it worth it to me? If they have control over it, there's nothing you can do. All right, what is up? James, for the IP Accelerator, you need to apply for the trademark, then go through Amazon. No. You just Google this, Amazon IP Accelerator, and you're going to find a whole list of all these trademark lawyers. And I recommend you pick one who has really good reviews, but not a ton. Because if you pick one who has a ton, they're so busy, they're slow to get back to you. Find one who's more desperate for business, but they have really good reviews and they will treat you like royalty. Now you need to do everything through them. They apply for you and all of that. What is up, Hilba? Seth, can you talk about patent products and how some sellers can sell patent products? I had my first product launch and I found that it is patent. So you need to find out what part of the product is patented. You know, when you launch a product, just for fun, let us say it was this awesome hat right here. I love this hat. Let's just say it was one part of it, okay? Maybe it's just the design of this little, actually for users, most fabric, it'd be copyright, but you get the idea. Never can an entire product be patented. It's a part of it. So you need to find out a way with the manufacturer, a way around that part. It could be just a hinge. It could be just a beveled lip. You also need to find out, is the patent a utility patent or a design patent? It is easier to get around a design patent than it is a utility patent. Lydia, hey, Seth and everyone joined. Happy to be here. Awesome. Good to see you. A great topic. No problem. Joaquin. Guys, if you have any trouble with sound, refresh or update your device. How can I start an Amazon business? Go to justonedime.com/start and I will show you. I am in works of product. Issue is that the factory won't print my brand name on the box, but they are putting the hang tags on the product. Amazon wants a fixed now. Let me make sure I understand this question. They won't print my brand name on the box. It is very odd to me, AC, that they would not print the brand name on the box. My guess is they want to hire MOQ. Now, if you're doing a clothing product with tags, it is perfectly normal to have all that information on the tag, but your clothing still has to come in a package. At the simplest, it would be a poly bag. At the most elaborate, it would be really fancy retail packaging. So you need to find out what the MOQ is. Usually if a supplier says we are not going to print this label, that's because the MOQ, the minimum order quantity, is too low. You need to order more to justify them doing that because there's a lot of costs in setup. Hey, MC Seth, what's up? Del the hater. You're aware of any sellers doing FBM successfully without having the seller fulfilled Prime badge? Yes, many. Seth, thank you for doing this. No problem, Yosara, happy to do it. Do you have a startup guideline where you assist with startup? Dorian, we don't. We have two things, okay? We have done for you where you can invest, you pay us to build the Amazon store for you, including the brand, but you own it 100%. Just to be clear, when those payments come in from Amazon, they go into your account, not ours. So you control that. When we get our payments, we invoice you and then you respond to the invoice. Or we have FBA Mastery, which teaches you how to do it yourself. And once you're in for life. justonedime.com/freedom. Sorry, I should have been more clear. I mean items that have the TikTok logo on them. Oh yeah, you cannot sell any item that has a brand name that is trademarked on it. No problem, Brandon. Absolutely, you got it, brother. Thanks for being transparent. Absolutely. John says, I just want to share my appreciation. This has to be one of the best live sessions I've been involved on. Seth taking all questions, keeping it real. Absolutely, brother. Tahir says, Seth, appreciate your honesty. Not many are as forthcoming as you are and about taking criticism. Any idea on what is the timeline on Just For You setup of store after both parties agree? Great question, brother. So as a general rule, to be safe, I would give yourself at least 6 months, for this. Let me explain. Opening the store, setting up the brand, talking to the manufacturer, negotiating with the manufacturer, deciding if we need a mold, building out a differentiation, playing with the manufacturer, having it built, negotiating pay terms. This is all stuff we will do for you. Having those products shipped to Amazon's fulfillment center, taking photos, creating a PPC campaign, launching the product, running the PPC campaign, split testing it, the different photos, like you take the first one, then you switch it out until you find one that converts better, reading the PPC report. I mean, the whole thing. To be safe, I would give yourself 6 months before you say, man, okay, now I'm really starting to see major money come through, just to be safe. Can it happen in 2 or 3 months? Sure, but that's just a general rule of thumb. Great question. All right. West Side Liquor and Craft Beer. Sorry, I should have been more. Okay, I already answered that. Let me keep going. Okay, Tushar Shack. In the One Dime coaching program, do you have a sourcing agent dedicated who takes care of shipping and other logistics? Does your mentor validate and help us guide to choose a product and product research? So let me answer the second part first. If you're in FBA Mastery, you get 3 one-to-one sessions where you can get their guidance on a product. What I would recommend is you do your research, show them your results. They're not going to do the research for you, but they'll give you feedback on the research that you did. You also can ask questions in the 2 to 3, sometimes 4 hours of weekly live coaching as well. So any questions you have, you can ask there or in the private Facebook community. Now for the first part of your question. We have staff full-time in China. We have a warehouse in China. They will find up to 4 suppliers for you based on criteria you need. You fill out a form and they will go find it for you and give you all of their information. Right now, we have not opened up our full sourcing service yet because in the past, a long time ago, we released it way too fast, which was a mistake. And that caused us a lot of problems. And so we had to backtrack and say, let's test this first. And thank you to Josiah. You never see him very much, but he is much more of a cautious person and I'm much more of an aggressive person. So he helps to keep my head on the ground. Hey everyone, is there any other way of doing China checkup? I found this a bit challenging. Is there anything like a main website that I can use for that? So Stanella, I think what you're referring to is someone to do a product inspection. A couple things on that. Get a company that exists in China. They're really good at it. They know what to look for. They know what kind of scams go on in China because they are Chinese, so they understand Chinese scams, which are different than American scams in each country. You can use FBA Warriors Group and ask them. If you're inside the membership, use the FBA Mastery Group and ask. There's a ton of great ones out there. And it's not super expensive. Sometimes $200, sometimes more, depending what you need, or they will look at the products and make sure they're testing it based on what you need. Softwares work anymore for product research? Yes, they do 100%, Sarah. Nasreen says, what is the best way to jump sales when you launch a product that does not have any reviews yet, but you need sales to get reviews? So I would stick a gift in the box when that ships out to the customer and they are surprised and delighted and you never mentioned it at all, not once on the listing. That is going to get you some really good organic 5-star reviews. Dan talks about this in our membership. It's extremely effective. Hey, Kniep, I'm selling Amazon since the last 1.5 years. Congratulations, Danny, brother. And I need more help to grow my business, offering any suitable program for me. So do this, Danny. Send me an email and tell me specifically what you're looking for. Seth@justonedime.com. Seth, how are weekly mentoring and Just One Dime coaching programs? Can you share your products and ask opinion, or can they validate PPC campaigns? Yes, they can in those one-to-ones that I mentioned. I want to sell in the US as a Canadian. Would I need a US-based bank account? You don't have to. If you can sell in the US and Canada, it doesn't matter where your bank is, it's fine. They're accepted either way. If you want to sell in Mexico, then you have to have a registered business in Mexico, and you do that through a third-party agent. What's up, James? A big shout out to Seth and Batman, Robin of FBA. I really appreciate all the free content. Ended up being the reason I committed to. Extremely happy about that decision. Absolutely, brother. I will tell you this. The biggest lessons I've learned in my life are through the hardest times. First, it started with being frustrated with my job. My marriage almost fell apart back in 2010. We had to go to therapy. We had to get a counselor. Like, there were so many things we went through. And something about suffering drives you into the dirt, but it does something on the inside of you. It lights a fire, and you rise up from that, and you rise up stronger. I believe if life didn't have struggles, if it didn't have problems, that we would be soft and weak and pathetic. It is problems that make you stronger. They help you to grow. And I promise you this, no matter where you go or what you do, you will run into obstacles. Accept that part. Just say, hey, these obstacles are to help me. I know a lot of people have been frustrated about 2020. I know it's been a very tough year. One of my favorite scenes from Batman is when he's being trained, he's in the prison, and there's this guy there, and he's like, hits him with his head, and he's like, I am the devil. And Batman says, no, you're not. He says, you're practice. That's what obstacles are for, guys. They are practice. They are practice to make you stronger. So whether you're going through struggles in your relationships, struggles in your business, your finances, your health, remember this one thing. The more you go through that hurts, the stronger you will get if you receive it as a gift, if you receive it as teaching you. Don't look at suffering as the enemy. Look at it as the training ground, the battleground through which you will get stronger and you can succeed. Guys, I cannot get to all the questions. I've answered so many. I need to go have a cup of tea or go on a walk. But thank you for the questions. Keep on going. Keep hustling. I love you guys. And I hope you found a ton of content and helpful value out of this today. And with that, cheers, everybody. And this tea is really, really good. It's from South Africa. You guys have a great night or great day, depending on wherever you are in the world. See you guys later. See you guys. Bye.